Allah. One more. One more.
I've already done that, Sam. You don't need to clap again.
Sorry, I clapped again.
You got the clap.
I got the clap. It's...
You know what I really hate, Sam?
Oh, why do you hate? Tell me.
No, what do I hate?
Me.
That is correct.
Yes.
Yes.
I hate when they cram shitty multiplayer modes into games that should not have multiplayer modes.
Yes. 100%.
Have you ever played a game like this?
Like Halo 2, it didn't need a multiplayer.
So true. I was going to say exactly that.
It literally did not need
that. It's just Bungie
that.
cashing in
on
Xbox Live. They wanted to monetize it with their no microtransactions.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Or like, Overwatch, it doesn't need a multiplayer. Just keep it single player. I think it's
great.
good.
The bots, man, they're so smart.
They actually are quite smart. I really cannot kill the bots when they're like just walking slowly.
And they do those loops back and forward, and then
it's annoying.
True, but it seems like not everyone shares our distaste for multiplayer modes crudely crammed into games that don't need them. Hence, Eidos Montreal today said that they plan to emphasize multiplayer experiences in games like Tomb Raider and Deus Ex.
Tomb Raider? Are you fucking serious? Tomb Raider's a multiplayer? It's going to be the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
So this disappointing story comes to us from Dark Side Gaming, I believe it's called. Is it Dark Side Gaming? It is Dark Side of Gaming. And they're here reporting on a conversation recently with Eidos Montreal. Now, Eidos Montreal in the past have made Tomb Raider and Deus Ex. These are very, very well-respected single-player games, right? The Tomb Raider reboot was actually really awesome. It sold really well, and everyone really loved it. It's basically Uncharted, but Uncharted was essentially Tomb Raider, but with a man. You know what I mean? And
so
and much better writing. Deus Ex is a very varied storied series from back in the day. Warren Spector's old, brainchild. That's went on to have a resurgence recently under Eidos, and they put out some very high quality games. They haven't sold through the roof, but in terms of like that immersive sim genre, where you have to basically navigate levels and approach puzzles in different ways, and like deep storytelling and that sort of stuff, very very good games in that context. Now, one thing that these games absolutely do not require are multiplayer modes. They just don't need them. They tried to cram...
I can't think of any game that doesn't need a multiplayer more than Tomb Raider.
I know, right?
Like, it's not a... Maybe a co-op little thing. Like, maybe...
But they do... Having said that, though, Uncharted, which obviously we spoke about a moment ago, does have a multiplayer mode that is very popular with people. Very popular.
In what way, though?
I don't know. It just really resonates with people. Like, people love the Uncharted multiplayer mode.
Okay. Look, if they were coming out with a co-op DLC or something that was going to like give you a new fun way to have to like kind of get through a puzzle, fair enough. But it sounds like they're gonna bring out some stupid multiplayer.
Yeah,
it's like a deathmatch thing or something.
Well, I mean, who knows what it'll be? I don't suspect it'll be deathmatch.
I don't think it'll be deathmatch. I'm just saying, like, they'll try and find some weird way to implement some multiplayer. So then they can be like, by the way, guys, this isn't a single player.
Alright, so let's just read the quote from Eidos Montreal so we know what we're talking about first, right? At Eidos Montreal, this is really terrible corporate writing, by the way. We're constantly working towards creating innovative and exciting experiences for gamers everywhere.
Shut up.
In turn, we are placing an added emphasis on the online experiences in our games, striving to continuously provide players with content that is memorable and impactful. I mean, first of all, that is the
carbon copy, garbage, corporate. Let's make it sound like we care.
It's so terrible. And then the quote goes on, through the inherent interactivity of online play, our universes will have the chance to thrive both now and into the future. To achieve this, we are building the teams and tools capable of supporting our ambitions.
Like, if only they got that written by a gamer.
But like an actual human being.
A human being would start,
a robot wrote that.
The T-1000 doesn't need to write this shit, right?
That's so true.
But like, they fucking got the T1000. If they only had a gamer who's like, hey guys, we want to make sure that this shit's epic for like the next 5 years or some shit. Just, I don't know how they would say it, but something cooler. Like, make a gamer understand that someone on their level is writing this shit.
Yeah.
Because they don't have it right
now. This is
now.
for shareholders, not for us. So this is really important because Square Enix, who publish Eidos Montreal's games, recently said that they don't plan to put any microtransactions in single-player games. And everyone's like, that's fucking awesome. We're glad to hear that. Things like Deus Ex and Tomb Raider, no microtransactions, baby. Thank you very much. Yeah. And everyone said, wait a second, I bet you what they do is that they then classify those games as multiplayer games
100%.
so that they can put microtransactions in them. And sure enough, we get this shit like 3 weeks later.
Yeah, that's why we made the whole joke before about, you know, oh, well, it looks like it's multiplayer now. It looks like it's microtransaction time. That's what I think's going to happen here. And I have to say, when I read this, I was like, God, that is the worst way to put it. That is the worst way to put it forward to people, like gamers. They're not silly. They're going to know exactly what's going on. And if anything, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Because you know from the get-go, several weeks, if not months, they were planning to put out a statement like this, then implement some multiplayer, so then it goes into the whole microtransaction camp. You know,
it's such a shame because these games, when they focus on what they're doing well, they're great games. Deus Ex, great game. Tomb Raider, great game. Another perfect example, Wolfenstein 2. The developer Machine Games came out and specifically said, we are not doing any multiplayer in this game because it would weaken, it would lessen our single player storytelling. That's our focus in this game. That's what we're delivering. And they delivered an incredible story in that game.
Absolutely
Like, the
fantastic.
game itself wasn't perfect, but overall, as an experience, it was awesome.
it was by far one of the best games of this year.
Because they focused on what they were good at, right? They didn't need to shove in crappy multiplayer. They're just like, let's do this thing properly.
And it's quite courageous, I would say, because in a marketplace now full of quick cash from microtransactions, they went down the route of no, we're gonna keep the integrity strong in terms of a single player experience. We're not here to make additional funds from a multiplayer that they can whack on. We've said it before. The world is realized enough, and the actual mechanics are strong enough to easily put a deathmatch in there.
Yeah, you
Easily
could have
do
done
it.
some crappy multiplayer in there.
You know, they could have easily done it, but they didn't. So, like, that's another testament to, I think, Bethesda, that they're trying to keep some single player stuff there.
Yeah.
You know, and they're not trying to do every single fucking game into microtransaction territory.
Totally. I don't want a second of developer time being spent on a multiplayer mode for Tomb Raider. Just make the Tomb Raider game really good in a single player. That's it. Same with Deus Ex. Like anything else, it's just a waste of our time. It's just not required.
Yeah, keep that that separate team for DLC stuff.
Yeah.
DLC stuff will probably not... It might actually sell better because it keeps the integrity of the brand. You're giving people bang for their buck, and you're also building the universe even more in terms of the Tomb Raider universe. So I think in that regard, maybe you might not make as much money, but you're still going to make a lot of money out of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know? And you're going to set your brand up stronger in the future.
I think so.
You know?
Either way, it is a disappointing turn of events. We will see how it goes with Eidos Montreal and what they eventually produce, but I am less optimistic than I was in the past.
Yes.
But we'll see how it all goes down.
I just hope, I was going to say, I hope they don't go full EA. That's all. I just hope they don't go full EA.
I don't think they're that. I think they're a bit far from that at this point in time. But we'll see. We'll keep tracking the story.
Yeah.
We'll let you know what else happens.
At the moment, it's EA, Bungie. Then they're all the way down here, but they're running. They're getting there.
Poor Bungie, man.
They're getting there.
Rip
Bungie. Yeah. Bungie. Oh, and Lawbreakers like all the way down there.
Lawbreakers are trying to monetize their game, but there's no.
Now they're paying you to play it.
That is correct.